What's going on, everyone? Welcome to The Climb. Welcome back. Episode 4, the supports start climbing. Today, I am joined by two wonderful gentlemen. My first co-host is a La Liga Season 2 champion. The man does really well with hookers. Hook champions. That's what I meant. Alturras himself. Welcome.
Hello, hello. It's good to be here.
All right, my second co-host is also a La Liga Season 2 champion, a menace in any role he plays, one of the four amazing co-owners that run this league, Wujin, aka Boise.
Hello, good to see all you again. Or I guess hear you, or
Hey.
you're hearing me.
Thank you, Wujin. We really appreciate you. So let's get to know these wonderful gentlemen real quick. So we're gonna start off with our amazing co-owner, Wujin. So when did you so we know you've been in part of the league since the start, and Alturras has also been here since the start, but like when
Yep.
did you become like a co-owner essentially?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess first of all, since not everyone knows, I've been with the league since season one. Actually, I just didn't play the first season, but I ended up becoming a co-owner in around season three. Biggest reason one was hopefully improve stability and give the league a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more diversity in like how the format and everything is run. I just feel like just changing it up every so often would have kept like interest in the league, and I really liked what we had going on. So that was like the biggest reason why I wanted to join the co-owners.
Awesome, yeah, and I was part of the admin team, so I've worked well with you back in those days, and we improved the league a lot, and now we're in Summit, and we're making some great things happen here, not only as on the content team, but overall, like this league is running really smooth, and we have a really growing community, and it's awesome to appreciate that. Mr. Arturus, though, you've also been here since season 1, correct?
Yes, I have.
And
I've been here
yeah.
since season one as a player, and then an admin, and then a player, and I don't know which one is worse. Um, um, hmm.
Oh yeah, I
No,
I
yeah,
forgot. We've all been admins at one point. Actually, I totally forgot about that.
yeah, no. Yeah, so I've been around since the very beginning, same as Daniel. Daniel and I have won, we won in La Liga on the same team together.
Season 2.
It was a legitimate win.
Yep, for sure.
No draft shenanigans happened.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome. And just out of curiosity, well, I guess we all kind of joined at like the same time. So, um, I guess I want to know what like your guys' point of perspective was when like La Liga first started, right? So when I heard about La Liga, like when Nightmare and Strand were first making it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so awesome. You know, we don't have any like League of Legends tournaments like ever, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna join this thing. And so I wanted to get your guys' perspective of it. Let's start with Garrett because I know he played in it.
Um, yeah, so La Liga season one feels like it was forever ago.
Yeah, it really does.
It was at the beginning of 2021, so
Mm-hmm.
about almost 3 years now, was when it was started, and we kind of created it because at the time we were kind of dealing with the fact that for a whole year we didn't really have any in-person tournaments from COVID, and a lot of us knew each other really well. We had all been part of the same league club, and I think Saul and Steven had this idea in mind to create this league where it would, I mean, at the time, we didn't have, or they didn't have any ambitions to make it anything bigger than a local league, or maybe it was always a long-term thing that they wanted, but initially it was I don't know that we even had 10 teams the first season.
We did
I
not.
I
I
think we
think it was
did.
8.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Wait,
8.
I thought it was 8
oh
as
no, yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah, you're right.
It's 8.
It was 8 teams. You're
Yeah,
correct.
so we had yeah, around 8 teams. But it was pretty much all people from the same place, which was really cool because I mean we all knew each other from university or other schools in the area, and I don't know, it was just a fun time. meant to be casual, and I think people latched onto it and had a great time with it season one. And so a lot of us stuck around.
Yeah, and now we're here. And 6 seasons later, rebrand to Summit, and now we're here. And honestly, I'm glad I have been a part of it and I've helped it grow. And it's honestly a great league to be a part of, because like the amount of support all the people like give each other, it's like hey, I just got, I just made plat 4, it's like everyone's like, hey, let's go, man, hyping them up and everything like that. So like this is probably my favorite league I've ever been a part of, and probably my only league I've ever been a part of, though. I guess that's so I don't really have anything to base it off of, but it's a great league. And then let's just quick, Wujin. What were your thoughts on it? Because you didn't play season 1, but when you joined season 2, what were your thoughts?
Also, I mean, from the very beginning, I was thinking like this all came from BSU squads dying, right? Like a lot of like the leadership left, and then it just didn't happen anymore. So when Steven and Saul ended up starting La Liga, I was like, oh yeah, this could be fun. It just didn't really work out with my schedule that semester, which is why I didn't play the first season. Also, I just was not enjoying the league as much during that first season. But as I started watching everyone play again, I was kind of like just brought back in the league. I think the aspect of competitive league, in a a decently fun environment in which the community is very like encouraging of one another, while at the same time there's still that friendly banter. That was like the biggest part that drew me into La Liga, and so that's part of why I ended up playing it season 2.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad. Like we have joined. A lot of people have joined from all walks of life from season. Like we have East Coasters that have joined from La Liga, and so it's like it's nice to have that diverse and ethnic group, and like it's been a great time. But yeah, let's actually move on into the start of the episode. So I decided to reformat the podcast a little bit. So we're going to, instead of talking about the games, we're going to talk about teams individually. So the first team we're going to talk about is Wujin's team, BLS, Better Learn Spanish.
Not rigged.
Not rigged. Totally not rigged. I totally didn't rig this episode. It's all good. But hey, let's talk about BLS. So let's talk about the individual players first. And, what better place to start off in the top lane? Mr. Injustice. Honestly, I really like this guy because his champ pool it's kind of simple, but it's also like really strong. So I mean, his champions were Renekton, Gnar. We saw him play the set in his last series, right? So he has this really like playstyle of like, hey, I want to be in the front line, soaking up damage, healing it back up. Like I'm just gonna be a ball that heals, and I'm going to be doing damage. He plays those bruisers really well.
Right.
And succeeds on them a lot. And that's why BLS has started to get more wins under their belts, because he's just this ball that the enemy team can't kill fast enough because, he's just so tanky and creates leads for himself in the top lane. And so I honestly really like this guy. And we had him on last week, and I consider him to be kind of a rival because I've played against him. He started season 4 of La Liga, and so when I first played him, I was like, I don't know who this guy is, and then I think he played like Mordekaiser into me or something like that, and I kind of got stomped by him. But it was a fun time. So he's a great character to have, and so something Giuseppe Heck did back in season 4 of La Liga. Is he gave titles to people, as many people know. My name is the Solo King, is what I was given the title for. So today, I'm giving Injustice a title. His new title is Daddy Croc. now.
I can't.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Sure. You feel free to call him that.
Injustice.
I'm not saying that.
I'm not either.
I approved it. I asked it Injustice if he was okay with it, and he said, "You know what? We'll see if it sticks." And so he said it was okay. So I just wanted to double check with him first before I said it on the podcast.
I don't imagine Injustice like on like his head on Renekton. I imagine him like his head just coming out of like an actual croc.
Okay, I like that. I like that. But yeah, let's move on to Mr. Alturras. What are your thoughts on him?
Dude, I have a lot of respect for Injustice. He is somebody who grinds super hard at the game, and he is always looking for ways to improve his team, whether it's by being a better influence for his team or, just expanding his champion pool or, just trying to find ways for his team to be competitive, even if they're not necessarily in a state where they can be super competitive. I think even in the games where he's behind, not just this season, but in prior seasons as well, he's kind of a rock for the teams that he is on the top side of the map. And you do kind of know what you're getting from him just because he does tend to I think stick to one or two or three champions a little too much, but beyond that, I think that he's one of the better top laners in the league. And I don't know, I just have a lot of respect for him, but I've been on a team with him before, two teams actually, and I just think he's an all-around great dude to be around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's send it over to Mr. Wujin real quick. What are your thoughts on your top laner and your captain? Actually, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so
Don't shit talk your captain, Daniel.
so I think Injustice is probably the best manager, honestly, if you ask me. He's very consistent on asking everyone, hey, what's your schedule like? What time can we do scrims, that sort of thing. And honestly, we're scaling right now, but part of the reason is because of me, and he's been very understanding of that, and even then he's still been trying to do his best. So I think his biggest strength, one, is I think he knows exactly what he needs to do for us to win the game. He's very straightforward on what he needs and what he doesn't need, but I would say, I guess, there are times I think he has problems with consistency, but his role as I would say, the lead voice in our confidence on our team is what really brings us strength in our series.
Yeah, awesome. Like I said, great guy. He brings a lot to the team, in my opinion. Like his just from the one series where you guys were down Action had 14 kills at 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that, and you guys came back and won that game. It just shows you how much this team can is not tilt proof. And I'm guessing Injustice was a big part of hey guys, don't worry about it. It's we can still win this game, come back, and you guys did. So congrats to that. Let's move on to the jungle, Mr. Dowsing. I played on a team with this guy back in season 1 of La Liga actually, and he's a really cool guy. His champ pool, I would say, is a little limited. I've seen him play his Hecarim very well. And in this most recent series, he played J4, which was incredibly strong and great showing by him. I don't really know what to say about him because I haven't seen him a whole lot in their series. But
we're gonna be seeing you soon here, Chris.
Yeah, he'll be seeing me in the top lane pretty soon. But I think this guy, what he brings to the team is he plays these really go in champs, right? He plays the Hecarim, J4. We even seen him play the Amumu. These get into the back or get into the team, CC them. Absorb damage. Kind of like that secondary tank role. So, and I think that's helps his team out a lot because you have Dandy in the mid lane, Knightmare in the bot lane, and then Boise. which are good players, but like they don't really play tanks besides maybe Boise. So I think this guy is like a really good secondary tank, and that's and he succeeds in that. And Alturras, what are your thoughts on Mr. Dowsing?
Um, so I thought he actually had like pretty good games overall this week. I think in general he kind of tends to play pretty average to how his team plays, and what I mean by that is if they're doing well, he's doing really well, and if they're not doing well, he's not doing well. And I don't know if that's necessarily something that it, I don't know enough about him as a person, and I don't know enough about him, or I don't know enough about him as a player, um, to accurately assess whether I think that's like kind of a him problem or just the teams that he's on problem. Because I've seen him on some okay teams. I've seen him on he's been on some pretty garbage teams in my opinion
Yeah.
before. So I think he's always done like okay, but I don't know much about him. I don't see him in the Discord very often, so I don't know.
Are you calling
He did good
BLS
this week
trash? Are
though.
you calling BLS trash?
No, I'm just saying that I don't know this guy very well.
No, I got you. No, but he has played extremely well. Like you said, good teams,
Mhm.
bad teams. I would consider BLS to be one of the better teams he's played with. So, Mr. Wujin.
Goddamn right. Yeah. So Josh, dowsing. Um, so I think dowsing is a very unique player in the manner that, uh, if you suggest something, he'll say, "That sounds awesome. Let's rip it." Now, whether or not, like, I think the biggest weakness on the flip side is that I don't know if he's actually played that champion a lot before or
Oh,
not.
okay, yep.
But like Josh is willing to do anything it takes for us to win, and I think his motivation, like to make some sacrifices on like what he wants to play to help the team, uh,
Mhm.
it very much propels us to do better. On the flip side, there are times where he plays something and it doesn't go well, and honestly, like I feel like uh when he is playing champions that he loves to play, he is at his best. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think other than that, Josh is a very solid like jungler for us. I think he very much caters to our play style, and I think he can really upset some junglers out there. He doesn't necessarily beat them one on one, but I think he has the room compared to other junglers in the league to learn and improve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What would you? Sorry,
No, go
X-Ray,
ahead. Go ahead.
just real quick. I was gonna ask Daniel, what do you think about Josh as like a player in terms of his personality and like his mental fortitude in these series? Because I've never played with him, so I'm a little curious.
I don't think Josh. If anything, if Josh
Is he
is a tilter,
untiltable?
I think he's untiltable. But if he is a tilter, he's a quiet tilter. But
Okay,
even as a quiet tilter, he's still talking. He's not like quiet, like
right.
death comms.
Nice.
He's got the monk mental.
It's nice
Yes,
to
yes, monk mental, monk mental.
it's nice to have
All right.
those untiltable players. But yeah, let's move on. Actually, speaking of untiltable, let's talk about Dandy. Speaking of like that's 14-0 series, man got like 4-man mid like 3 different times that series, but and like still came out swinging. Was still giving it his full effort. This guy has like been playing a lot of the mages in the mid lane. The Ziggs. We saw him play the Cassio, but we've also seen him play some of the assassins like Zed. So like I've honestly really like Danish champ pool. I think he brings a lot of diversity for BLS, and that's why BLS is able to like pick these weird comps of like you have like Seraphine bot lane or something like that, which I don't think that normally would happen, but it happens. But I think his role in the team though is like very like mage carry, right? And he does it really well in a lot of these games and succeeds on it. So I gotta give props to Dandy for being untiltable though in those in the last couple series. That specifically that one where was it against XT losing it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, versus don't press tab. Yeah, I gotta give props to that. That is, I know it was like a couple weeks ago, but like man, what an untiltable player, Mr. Garrett.
And I'd say he did a lot more than just be untiltable last week. That man, that Ziggs deserves to be in the NBA, okay? That man was shooting 3-pointers left and right, okay?
Yes,
That guy
sir.
was, Dandy was looking like prime Samsung White Dandy out there, okay? He was actually just stomping on that Ziggs. Now, second game, it didn't happen. Third game, and then he played the Fizz as well, which I think is always like such a risky pick to take in these sort of games where we're slow, we're a little more macro heavy, and we tend to play around objectives a little more in the league than I think.
Yeah.
Even in other leagues, I don't think it's as common to be as objective heavy as we are. Like I'm playing Risen right now with a couple of other people in Summit, and I don't think that the meta is like that at all. So. But in Summit, you know, picking an assassin mid lane can kind of be a death sentence for your team if you don't find a way to get a lead, which puts a lot of pressure on the mid laner. But Dandy found opportunities in that game, and I think he looked good on that as well. I have a lot of respect for him also as a player. I think Daniel mentioned that Dowsing is pretty malleable as a player and does what he needs to for his team, and I think Dandy is pretty much the same in that regard. What are your thoughts, though, Daniel?
Yeah.
Dandy's my boy, okay? But so I will correct you guys. Dandy is not untiltable. He is not untiltable.
No, I did not call that man untiltable.
No, okay, sorry.
I felt like
I'll
he was
correct
untiltable.
He is not untiltable, but he will continue to play.
Yeah,
he will continue to play. He's not a RQer. But I think Dandy's biggest strength is his. I honestly, I think our team in general is very flexible. But he will pull out these picks. Like he's willing to play, you know, your standard mages. Just be that mid lane role player that we need. But at the same time, he's also willing. Like, yeah, you know what? I want to play Fizz. And I think that is both a power, like Fizz and Kiana is both a strength and a weakness. He can either run over the game or his champ can solo lose us fights if we play incorrectly, right? And evidence of that, the Fizz you were talking about when we were playing CVC. Yeah, Fizz was mispositioned wrong in one Baron fight, and then we just lost that fight. So, but yeah, I think as a player, Dandy is the one who's like, you know, kind of making jokes in the middle of the game, keeping up our spirits. I think that positive attitude is something I very much value within our team. I love it when he just randomly makes his jokes.
Yeah. He was
he just screams when he's throwing Ziggs are, yo, it's coming from downtown.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
all right. Yeah. I really respect Dandy, and knowing that he's not untiltable. He's tiltable. Good to know for playoffs, but yeah. Let's move on to the bot lane, and we're gonna.
You ain't tilting him though, XRAY.
Yeah, that's true.
You ain't tilting him.
Well, let's move on to the bot lane. We're actually gonna do the bot lane together because I think the duo is very important. So this duo, and I'm gonna be honest, Knightmare and Boise. I'm gonna be honest. I think this is the best bot lane we have this season. You know, early season. They didn't play as well as, we expected them to do. But, however, in these most recent series, this last, 2-3 weeks, they have shown up and, played extremely well. Versus CBC, they got the dub, easy pickings. And then versus Ant Setup, I didn't get to watch the Ant Setup game. But I heard they were really, pretty easy for... Mr. Boise and Knightmare in the bot lane. So I gotta give props to them. And honestly, I have another title for Mr. Wujin today, though. It's not as bad as Daddy Croc.
Yeah, let's hear it, Chris. I want to hear it.
I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna
it better not be what I think you're gonna say.
Come on, Chris.
I'm
gonna use whatever nickname this is. By the way, I'm calling you this for the next week.
I gave Wujin the Puppet Master.
Oh, that is not what I
That
thought
is
you were going to say,
lame.
but that's fine.
Oh.
So
I'll take that.
the reason
That is not what I thought you were going to
I'm
say.
saying
retract
Puppet
my
Master
offer.
is because I've subbed into his team for scrims, and his like the way he like manipulates his team is like, hey, we need to be right here at this time, and like, you know, he's like controlling his team of like how he needs, like what his team needs to do. So that's where I see him as like the puppet master. He's like controlling his team and moving them around the map efficiently. Granted, he doesn't really need to do that with a lot of these players, but he does it extremely well, and that's why I gave him the puppet master. Mr. Garrett, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because I haven't played against these two yet. And there's definitely some bot lanes that have tripped me up this season. I don't personally feel like I'm playing individually all that well for the majority of this season, so it's kind of hard for me to evaluate here. But I know that Saul and Daniel are both like they have a good mindset about how to approach the game and how to play for win conditions, play for whatever they need to play for in order to win the game. They're both very competent players, and yeah, I mean, best bot lane is probably a fair argument. Best bot lane in the league, which is a little surprising if you had told me that that would be the best bot lane in the league. I might have guessed that it would have been one of like the Masters 80 carries or something. But yeah, the funny enough,
Hey,
I think the
don't
one
disrespect
advantage.
Saul there. He was Masters in
Yeah,
Flex.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
Don't
Yeah,
disrespect
yeah.
him.
Sal
Yeah,
Sal
no,
has
no.
been
No
Masters
disrespect to him.
before, so or very close to Masters, so
Uh,
I would put some respect on his name, bro.
No, actually, I think the biggest advantage that, well, I guess my bot lane also kind of shares this is that you guys are really flexible in draft, and you guys, if you guys are locking in Ziggs, I don't know if it's going mid, bot, or AD carry or support, like that kind of thing.
I was gonna say I'm gonna lock that shit in if I want it.
Yeah, like it's just random things. Like I think we have that in common. Like we've kind of both picked out weird pocket picks this season. You picked out the Oriana earlier this season, and I picked out the Poppy, which is also
Have you played Heimerdinger bot yet?
not this season, but I think in La Liga season 4, I did play it actually quite a bit, and I know Daniel did too, because it was meta at one point.
Wujin,
And
have you
Daniel
played
Daniel
it
loves him the
this season?
donger.
I can neither confirm nor deny have I played it in the scrims or games.
Well, I already know the answer to that, but because I was in that game, but you know.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Well, that kind of
That
Hey,
that kind
just
of ruins it.
leaked.
leaked
Leaked.
scrims,
Leaked.
I'm behind enemy lines. But yeah,
No.
let's talk about Wujin. Hype your boy up real quick. I guess hype yourself up too. I guess.
All right, so I think Garrett. No, sorry, wrong one. But Saul, you know, I think Saul is like, he can like. Okay, so this is the thing, right? He can be very good, right? And I think the biggest strength is, or I guess the biggest strength of our bot lane is we have a high ceiling in terms of like how hard we can accelerate the game or execute, right? But I also think that can be a weakness at times, right? If we're not able to get it done, like if we like you saw the AB series, right? If we play bad, we inherently are a lot weaker because like it is, right? Solo and I are probably the highest ranked in the last 2 seasons on our team. But when we can't get it done, it means very bad things for our team, no matter how I dictate the pace of the game, right? If like Solo is for some reason not strong enough, it is very hard for us to play games. And I think we were a little bit hard on ourselves for that for a little bit too long. I think since then, our role on the team is, yes, it's still it's still like, try to accelerate bot lane through our playstyle. Also, Chris, don't disrespect us, man. We got solo kills every single game, actually, except one, I think.
I didn't watch the
But
games.
it didn't necessarily dictate whether we won or not, because there are like things that happen in the middle of the game that I may have made a mistake a few times, but solo as well. And I think the biggest thing is we're trying to be a little bit more consistent about it. And I think through how we think like our team is strong as a team, we're still trying to find our identity, but I think our guidance is like a big role on our team in general.
Yeah. And I think there's a good number of people that won't understand exactly what kind of pressure that puts on the higher ranked players when they have to simultaneously not just win their lane, but win it convincingly, and then also not necessarily micromanage, but definitely guide the rest of the team to wins while maintaining their own lead. And it can be a lot of work even for a high elo player. And I think definitely we've seen this season so far that kind of pressure does make some of the higher elo players crack.
Yeah, and I do want to quote Goblin real quick on the whole Puppet Master thing, Chris, that you're giving me the nickname of. I remember last season and the season before that, Rob DMs me, "Stop micromanaging your team. They're playing way too safe."
I mean, oh yeah, I was with you. I drafted you last season.
Yeah, Rob's like, we were like not that great that season, but we murdered Rob's team.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I think Wujin's like one of his biggest strengths is being able to manage different players and his teams, and being able to like say, hey, we need to do this. You need to be here. Everything like that. He's really good at that. But yeah, let's
I play up very well, play down not too well.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, let's look at the rest of their schedule. Looking since we looked at their teams and pretty much their whole team overview. Let's look at the rest of their schedule. They have I would say a medium, kind of I would say kind of easy, kind of hard. I don't know how to like describe this last couple games. So first off, they play Disco Spiders. See you next week, Mr.
Yeah, that's a wrap. No problem.
Okay.
Hey, I 2-0'd them. Let's do it.
Exactly. If Garrett and Ranger can 2-0 them, we can 2-0 them.
Ranger didn't 2. We 2-0'd.
Oh, sorry, Red Ranger.
Oh.
Jeez. Not specifying the colors with a colorblind host.
My bad.
Co-host?
Anyways,
wow.
Honestly, I can honestly see this game going either way, personally, but I think Disco Spiders, after losing to MiSfItS, they're coming back with a vengeance, and BLS just happens to be their next victim. So we'll see you guys.
Oh, okay,
Ooh,
all right.
I like that take.
Yeah, Chris, I'll see you under your tier 2.
Yeah, come, baby. I'll absorb all the pressure, baby.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on to the next game, and moving on to the next series. My two co-hosts are going at it. BLS and MiSfItS.
Yeah.
Like I said, I also think this series can go either way. Man, MiSfItS.
Red is the wild card.
Yeah.
I don't think we're that much of a wild card, honestly.
I don't think MiSfItS are much of a wild card. I just think
No, Red is.
Oh.
Not MiSfItS. Red is the wild card.
I actually think Red has also I think Red has done he's kind of been hard on himself, but I do think that Red's performance has been a big part of why we've been able to pull out some of these
I
wins.
agree, actually. Yes.
So I don't know. I've been pretty happy with how he's been playing. He's definitely been playing a lot better than I have been for the majority of the season. I would say I started off pretty cold, but I think Red will surprise some of the teams in playoffs. That's for sure.
You're scaling.
No, I think Red is pretty good.
Yeah.
In general, when I call him a wild card because when he performs well, your guys' chances of winning the game are much higher. And that's not even if he's fed, I don't count that as playing well. I'm talking about like when I see that he's playing consistently and respectfully, or like playing to his win conditions. That is what I count as playing well. And I think when he does that, like your chances of winning drastically skyrocket.
Yeah.
That included with I think you also have been playing more consistently in the in the most recent series, Garrett. So that's like the biggest thing as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then their final match, week 9, BLS wins it. Let's just move on.
Who do we play week 9?
Mystic Ninja
MNC.
Cyclones.
That's disrespectful, man.
Okay.
Dude, I actually think MNC, like,
They play well during scrims.
they do
like,
so well, and then they get to their official games, and like, I don't know what it is, but like
they're
they get
better.
they get
than
their
they
one
look.
game, and then they don't close out the series, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like it's a little surprising. I mean, it's not entirely surprising knowing who's on that team, but I would have expected them to have more wins for sure.
They are for sure better than their record indicates.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
in general, actually, the league is very competitive. It's not very top heavy. I think it's like, because as you notice, like teams that were at the bottom. Well, I mean,
I think there's
teams
goofy
that are-
gophers, and then there's the rest of us.
True, actually.
Not even that. If you put it that way, they're 3-2 at the current state.
Sorry,
right?
they're
That's-
4-2. 4-2. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, they're
update it.
4-2.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're 4-2, right? And then
Our
there are
host
the
is
other
just
teams that are
briefing
4-2.
us.
I know. Sorry.
Yeah,
But yeah, no,
but
I am an MNC hater, but I don't want to be. It's just like they're just. I want this team to perform well, and they're not, and I'm frustrated about it. That's why I'm a hater, because like on paper they're
that shouldn't
just
make
so
you a
good.
hater.
That shouldn't make you a
That's
hater,
not
man.
a hater.
Bro.
Oh, X-ray.
Anyways, let's move on to the second team, Mr. MiSfItS, Mr. Alturras' team. Yeah, so let's just start from the top lane. And honestly, Sparks, after this last week, very sad, didn't get my solo bolo. Chris can.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't get my solo bolo.
Yeah, no, Wes didn't. I think didn't
Let's
Wes solo bowl
go!
you?
What?
Wait, didn't Wes
Sorry.
even get a solo bowl on you?
I don't remember. Probably.
Oh, that's convenient.
I think he did.
I'm pretty sure he did though. Yeah, but
Yeah, I think
anyways,
he did because he had the Mordecai. Oh yeah, the Mordecai's are into Poppy. I think.
No, I almost solo killed him though. On the Poppy.
But did you?
I didn't though. So, anyways, Sparks is honestly he's a mid laner who got drafted in the top lane, and honestly, he has transitioned extremely well into the top lane. You know, we've seen like Asuna and Logic were also mid laners that got drafted into the top lane, and haven't like really done super well. I mean, Logic has done super well. Asuna has done okay-ish, I guess. But you know, Sparks has shown up in a big way. You know, in this first couple weeks, he was playing tanks. You know, playing comfort, trying to play like for his team. But in his most recent weeks, he's playing these like bruisers and these like hard carry champions. You know, last week we saw him play the more Darius, and then the week before he just played like Jax, Fiora. You know, like he's playing these really aggressive top laners, and I'm really happy because I've been wanting him to play these champions because I think he's a really strong player, and you know, and he's showing us now like why he's a really good player. So I gotta give respect to my boy Sparks. Let's have Wujin go first this time. What's your thoughts on Mr. Sparks?
Yeah, I just wanted to preface this by saying Chris just said that because he didn't solo bolo you. If he solo boloed you, he would have been like, his shit on.
Sparks.
But anyways,
I would have Venmo'd you.
But anyways, Wes has always been a solid player. Wes, he's always been a very solid player. I think like the reason like his performance, you know, in the early season was not that good. One, it's adjustment periods. He's not really a top lane player, as most people know. So he's still learning the role. I think the second biggest thing is that he didn't really know how top lane should play around like jungle as well. And so his lane state and wave manipulation was very bad. I think like even during like the games where he wasn't doing that well, he was still like trading like pretty okay. But I think with as time goes on, he's still gonna continue to be a little bit better. And I think right now his biggest weakness still even is his inexperience on the lane itself, and like what little tips and tricks you can use in the lane to further your advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Garrett, what is your thoughts on your top lane?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say because one, I hate top lane with a burning passion, and two, I role swapping into it right before the season starts is kind of like, yeah, like Daniel said, it's not something that you can just pick up and do immediately. At least most people can't, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Wes has done a good job adjusting to it, keeping a cool head about it, and just like the role is insanely frustrating at times. So um, I'm super proud of Sparks for not only like just being monk mental, but also like still trying to contribute and actively think about the bigger picture in these games. Even though it's kind of obvious that he's a little tunnel visioned on what he's trying to do in the lane at the moment. But other than that, like I think he's a solid player, and like X-Ray said, he's very mechanically strong, and um, yeah, I'm super glad that I have him as my top laner because I've wanted to have him on my team for oof, 4 or 5 years now. Maybe not his top lane. Mid lane would have been cool.
Yeah.
He's still the best Yasuo in the server. I'll stick with that. But
All right. All right. Okay, I see you.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to your jungler. Uh, I have another title for this guy, by the way. So
Oh no.
this is the last one. Okay, I swear this is the last one. But
I feel like
Thank
Xer just pick
oh,
and chose these nicknames.
I don't have a title. I don't. Thank you.
So, anyways, Gewwonabon, I grew up with this guy. I've played with this guy since high school, so I kind of know him pretty well. Um, I kind of know like what he's gonna play. You know, he has that really strong Ivern pick, and he kind of knows what he wants from jungle, and he knows the game extremely well. You know, masters jungler, so he knows what he wants, and he knows what he's going to give for his team. So, I don't,
Ivern.
yeah, Ivern, and you know, most recently, the Trundle, and yeah, I gave him the name the Troll King, because of his Trundle play against and setup. Uh, yeah, okay, I see you, Garrett. Yeah,
Top one game, brother.
2 games, by the way.
Okay. All right. All right.
No, honestly, like this guy's Trundle just showed up in a big way. That's why we banned it against him, because I think his Trundle is like really good. You know, it's not very hard to pilot, but the way he pilots it is incredibly strong and impacts the game in a big way. So I think Gewwonabon is probably top 3 jungler right now. Um, I'd probably say
I think it's hard to argue not top
yeah,
three, honestly.
yeah. It's hard not to argue top 3 because he's been playing so consistently and really well for his team. So, yeah, let's send over to Wujin.
Gewwonabon. Where do I start with this man? Let's not talk. Let's not talk about Ivern first of all, because that's like a special.
It's a
thing for him.
permaban,
Just
honestly.
yeah, but the way I see it, if he plays Ivern, I'm not necessarily sure it's like the biggest advantage to them for him to play Ivern, because I feel like the way he is playing, he is one playing to accelerate the game, in which I'm not exactly sure if that would fit on his team with Ivern, but I haven't actually seen him play like in scrims or anything, so that's just like a theoretical like thing that I have no idea, right? Yes or no, right? But I think besides like coming out of like that, I think coming into the season, everyone saw him as an Ivern one trick or like Rek'Sai secondary, right? And it's proven he can play like more than that, right?
Yeah.
I think he's still trying to find ways to best fit like his team and how exactly they can accelerate games. And I think like in recent weeks, it's a big part of their resurgence as well. That alongside with something else I'll talk about later. But him being able to stabilize his early game a little bit better just allows him to have a little bit more freedom in the mid game.
Yeah, and I think he is also. I mean, okay. He is incredibly good at jungling. He is like a pretty good leader, I would say. But most importantly, this man has the best meme game in all of Summit, hands down.
Oh,
Okay, you can't
yeah, he
convince me
does. I
otherwise.
totally
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah,
All
he
right,
is a
this
great
man.
meme game.
Anytime we're about to go into a series, he is DMing our whole team memes. He is making fun of the enemy team. He's not necessarily trash talking in trash talk, but let me tell you, he's got dirt on everybody. Okay, and I think that no, he's just a super cool guy to be
He
around.
has so much
And
dirt on me. So much dirt.
yeah, yeah, he
I will
does.
say if Ryan
Especially
has
you, X-Ray.
if Ryan has any weakness, I think it's thinking too much. Because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I think I might actually agree with that.
yeah, because sometimes like
He can kind
he's
of.
thinking of the most correct play, but
Mhm.
sometimes like some of us are beating our chest a little bit, just
Right.
like, hey, let's run at them. They won't expect it,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
so
man's a
he doesn't
machine, but
expect it.
he's in a monkey enclosure, and we're all apes around here. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's a valid criticism from what I've
Yeah.
seen in both like our official matches and like the scrims that we've done against other teams. I think he is an insanely good player. So much so that oftentimes it's just like he's not on the same page as us because we're just fist fighting, and he's like, Why are we doing this, guys?" And yeah, no, I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's
Mm.
pretty much just like he's a jack of all trades, but he's pretty damn good at all of it. So I don't know, not much else to say.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna speed along through these mid and bot lanes. MyHotDaddy, I'm gonna be honest. I would say this guy is very you kind of know what you're getting with MyHotDaddy. You know
I agree.
he's gonna play that mage mid lane, the Malzahar. Most recently saw the Asol, the Vex. He's gonna play some sort of mage in the mid lane, and he's gonna play it safely and try to look for roams. So like he's not a bad player, but in like rank deficit, where he's outranked or something like that, I think he can struggle sometimes. But he still has the ability to still win lanes against harder opponents. So,
Hmm.
but he's a good player. He is the hottest dad. That's why he named himself that. So, I feel so much disappointment in the room right now. So let's send it to Wujin and get it off me.
What can I say, bro? I'm lost for words after that. But as far as MyHotDaddy goes, I think he's a very he's a good value pick, is what I would say. Like he like does the job for the most part. Like I would say MyHotDaddy, he's the strongest when nothing happens during lane, because he the champions that he tends to play, they normally like scale into the mid game and then are very solid at wave clearing. So I think when nothing happens in the early game, that's his strength, and that is very strong against I think more than half the teams in this league actually. So I think having him on your team is actually a huge strength, especially like at his cost for sure.
Oh
And
yeah.
just him being able to scale up and make the plays that he makes in like the mid to late game, especially on the Asol, it's a very big benefit to their team, because that guy is translating his just his sustain like in the early to mid game and just turning it into damage in the late game.
Hmm. Yeah, I think MHD is like. Yeah, I kind of often compare him to setup. Maybe not in terms of mental. He's kind of like
Baby
me in men.
setup.
He's not. He's more like me in terms of mental. Usually cool, but if the tilt train starts rolling, it don't stop, and I respect that. But no, he's just like a very controlled player. He has an idea of how he wants to play every matchup that he goes into, and he sticks with it. He's very consistent, I would say. Honestly, he might even be like gameplay wise, I feel like maybe he's one of the more consistent players on our team. which is a little weird to say because as a lower elo person, you wouldn't
Yeah.
expect that. But
I
there's
agree,
not
actually.
there's not a ton of variance with him. Like you kind of know what you're getting with him every game. Whereas you don't know if I'm going 0-9 or 0-1 and 25. So yeah, I think he's just a very solid player, and having a solid player, even if he is lower rank in the middle of the map every game, is like super critical for just being able to play the game the way that we want to, look for objectives when we want to, and um, yeah, I think he's a really good player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up MiSfItS with Red Ranger and Alturras. You know, the dynamic duo in the bot lane. You know, like you guys said, like Red Ranger's kind of a wild card. To be honest, I've only really
You
seen.
said.
Yeah, sorry. Wujin said.
Red's my ace.
Uh, I I don't really have much to say about Red. Is the problem? I've only really seen him play the Swain and the Jinx. However, like when he does get those two champs, he has played extremely well in them, and then he's also struggled on them in the same way. But it's like if he's ahead, he's really strong, and like is able to carry the games effectively. But if he's behind, he kind of struggles, I think, and is has a hard time to get back into the games. And Alturras, like I said, this guy, guys, I don't know what to say. I'm scared. But no, honestly, Alturras, he plays really consistently. Yeah, whatever. He plays really well on his hook champs, and like specifically Nautilus, and most recently Thresh. Congrats to him on the win against Disco Spiders. It was rigged. Anyways, yeah, let's head over to Wujin and his thoughts on the bot lane.
I mean,
Blaze me, Daniel.
I'm gonna glaze them here. Red is the color of blood, right? And when you when you think about who's in their bot lane, they got Jason Lee Scott and they got Ed Sheeran, and not only that, they're playing Swain. Like the champs
We're
red
singing
too.
"Shape of You" every lane.
Oh
That's
my
our call.
God.
Exactly. So they're out for blood every game. Sometimes it's their own blood. Sometimes it's enemy team's blood. In more recent weeks, it has been enemy team's blood.
I love this.
And so
I love it.
I think in general, they're kind of in a way like I think they're a double-edged sword in a way in which when they don't do well, oh my god, is their team? They look like a bunch of inters, but when they do well, like when they have good vision control coverage and when they're the ones making plays, they look much, much better. And it's very indicative that they're top 2 spot right now, if I remember correctly, yes.
Yeah, they're
But-
second right now.
Yeah, I think Garrett is probably like top 3 support as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And that's like including the whole season even. I think while he didn't play well in the early parts of the season, it's very much made up for by his performance in some other games. Especially like his Thresh play recently has been very, very clean.
He missed a couple hooks though.
Yeah.
Wasn't every Thresh?
Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. He actually sucks. He got out vision scored, if I remember correctly.
Oh
last
yeah! Oh
By
yeah!
one.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah, I totally
honestly,
forgot.
I take everything back. I think they're probably the worst bot lane in this league, and that's the reason they're in second place. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? I know for a fact that Daniel and Saul are just gonna lock Kaisa Senna and say double Umbral Glaive and do the same thing to me. So
Yep,
you know
and
what?
then I'm gonna be like, you lost the vision score. How's it feel?
Yeah.
I say the true winner of the series is whoever has the most vision score.
I won the battle, but I lost the war.
Right. Yeah, I think in the Wujin versus Alturras matchup in week 8, I think the winner should be decided who has the most vision score.
I think the winner is gonna be decided by who dances the most in game.
Oh,
I think the winners.
Okay, I like it.
I have a sneaking suspicion that the winner's gonna be whatever top side is more impactful because bot lane doesn't matter. Not till the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
No, I think that in general, Red and I have been a lot more cohesive the last few weeks. Definitely a lot more than we were last season. Um, we're generally on the same page now. I think we worked out any sort of problems that were plaguing us in prior seasons, and I think on top of that, I think my team's just really good, man. Like for the value that we got, like it's hard to pinpoint a single like major weakness in my team is one of the other things we've got going for us. Like some of the teams do have like gold solo laners or silver players in top lane or whatever, and I guess MHD would be like the closest to that, but like even then again, he's such a consistent player that our team doesn't have a whole lot of weakness, so we've had more time to figure out what we need to do bot lane together more. And I think we're gonna cleanly 2-0 Wujin and Wujin and Boise. Wujin and
2-0,
Nightmare.
goddamn.
Yeah.
No, okay, listen to me. You know that's not true. That's not the MiSfItS special. It has to be a 2-1 if anything.
No, if anything,
guys.
it's gonna be a 2-0 against you guys, and then we get 0-2'd by Mystic Ninja Cyclones. I'm telling you right now, that's what's gonna happen.
No.
This is why I
The
brought these two
BLS,
on,
the BLS
by the
winning
way.
game 1, and the MiSfItS losing game 1. It's irreplaceable. It's irreplaceable. Has to happen.
And I guess for our bot lane in particular, I know Red has had like some kind of inconsistent performances. He's done a little better lately, but I think something that a lot of people don't see is that he's just been extremely busy, and he's usually someone that is really good at the game because he's playing a lot, and he's just not had the time this season. So outside factors are definitely a thing that I think have contributed to maybe some of his more inconsistent performances, but I think overall we're doing a lot better this season for sure as a bot lane, and I'm really happy with how far we've come.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and then like I said, looking at the rest of your schedule, I think it's gonna be pretty easy. I think MiSfItS is gonna get a lot of free points, except for the BLS match. I think that is the one game you guys will duke it out to see who wins.
Who do you think's gonna win, Chris?
No pressure, Chris, but
No pressure. No pressure.
The choice is yours, really.
Anyways, let's move on to predictions.
You're gonna have to make them anyways.
I'm gonna have to make my decision anyways. So let's talk about predictions. Week 7. Let's start off with and setup versus We Hate Gophers. Since XRAY is behind 2 games now, the co-hosts get to go first.
Okay.
Wait, how do we decide this?
Oh,
is it like?
I mean, I guess we just make our prediction, right?
They didn't do their homework, guys. I told them to do their homework, and they didn't do it.
He didn't tell us what to do at all. In fact,
he didn't tell us what to do.
He didn't even tell us when to show up.
I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna clip it. So
my vote's for We Hate Gophers, though.
Oh man, I don't know. So We Hate Gophers is playing Ansa. So, I'm gonna give it to Ann Setup. I think that they've slumped a little bit, but I think that was kind of inevitable with the way we have to agree.
Yes.
Okay, I'll agree with Garrett because mine was purely based off of underdog.
All right, cool. That's what I went with too. All right, don't press tab versus
I think this is more interesting. Let's debate it out, Daniel.
Let's not debate it out. Let's not debate it out.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, next one.
All right, don't press tab versus corporate budget cuts. You guys are first because I'm down 2 games.
I think this one's actually probably the hardest one in my mind.
This one's pretty hard. I actually took a while on predicting this.
Oh, you know what? Actually,
I'm gonna go DPT.
I'm gonna go DPT as well.
I think Rob's been playing better lately.
God damn it.
I think he's just gonna gap.
All right, well, I already know the answer for this one. Disco Spiders versus BLS. You guys are gonna choose BLS.
I'm gonna go with you because I can't debate you on this. You're not gonna say anything else.
Yeah,
you're goddamn right.
So, anyways, moving on. Asterios Bonobos versus Goofy Gophers.
Okay, hold up. First of all, you've been calling them bonobos. Is that how it's pronounced?
Bonobos?
It's bonobos.
Oh.
No, it's bonobos.
It's bonobos. I was like, I've listened to the
I'm gonna keep saying
you say that every week.
but I can't even say it now.
Oh no. We've fixed him.
Okay. All right.
Asterios
Anyways.
BBs. Asterios BBs.
Goofy Gophers. I hate to do it to my boy, but that team looks
Yeah,
a
I
little
think.
stacked topside, and Korai
God damn
will
it, that's what I said too.
probably
I
have
mean,
to play into a
listen,
safe bot lane and just won't have time.
Goofy Gophers, like a big part of Asteria's, Manobo's strength is also their top lane, and I think Elodad's probably gonna show up in this one. So
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see though in this series because you probably have one.
I'm
of the
hoping though that
top two.
Korai does win, because then we'd be in contesting.
Yeah.
We'd be contesting number one. So go
Um,
Korai.
but
But you're probably gonna lose. Sorry.
anyways, like I said, Kanga versus Goofy, Elodad, I think it's gonna be a really good game because you have like probably the top two top laners, maybe
Yeah.
top three, two of the top three top laners in the same game, and I think it's gonna be really fun to watch. And then finally, week 7 to round out MNC versus MiSfItS. What do you guys? I mean, oh, never mind. MiSfItS. Got it, guys.
well, do we want to go based off of Garrett's prediction?
Oh wait, yeah.
Mystic Ninja Cyclones beats MiSfItS, baby.
No.
No, I don't think
bro.
so.
I'm
It's
just
for sure.
humoring the
I
broadcast,
know.
bro.
Okay.
I've seen that team play, bro.
Okay. Moving
They're
on.
gonna have to send 6 people bot just to kill Red and I, and they don't have 6 people on their team, so.
Alright. Moving on to week 8. First game and setup
Kidding,
versus
Arturo. Love
don't
you.
press tab.
Oh man. I think
I know my answer.
this one's hard
but-
as well. What do you think,
I
Daniel?
think it's and setup. I think while Rob, I think more than likely DPT bot lane will win, but I think High Cosmo is good enough mechanically to hold his own in team fights anyways. And in general, I think and setup has like a good strong matchup into them. I don't know, setup is normally not like the mid laner to get like solo killed, and I think that'll negate a lot of like acceleration, but on the XP losing it, which is another big strength of DPT. So that's just my opinion on it.
Do I have to agree with Daniel on everything?
You don't have to, no. But I mean,
Well, I'm just saying, X-Ray was like, we have to agree
you
with
guys
this
do
cringe.
have to come to a consensus at some point.
yeah. Well, I mean, I want to hear your thoughts too, because like it's pretty close for me too.
Having played against both teams, I'm not sold on High Cosmo this season. I think in previous seasons he's done a lot better, and I think right now he and Faye are not doing as well as they could be doing. That's for sure. I think that team is really good, but I think that Rob will probably just tear them apart.
So
I mean, we tore him apart. So
before you guys come to a decision,
We did too.
I just like to remind you, I am down 2 games, and if you guys want me to do the punishment, you guys could try to think about
100 Riven games.
That's not happening.
Nope. I talked with
I
my
thought
manager Ryan.
I thought you were doing
and-
the punishment already.
Yeah, I did too though.
No.
How does-
End of the regular season. End of regular season.
Oh no, I thought it was because you didn't solo kill people.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh, man.
Look, all I'm gonna say is that I completely agree with my manager, Gewwonabon. 100 Riven games should be the punishment, and I will not budge on that.
Anyways, and setup versus don't press tab. I need an answer.
I went. Garrett went with me last time, so I'll go with Garrett this time.
So don't press tab?
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
that's what I went with. We had Gophers versus Disco Spiders.
Disco Spiders. It's
This-
not the Goofy
no.
Gophers.
You have to go with me this time because I'm gonna go with you one more time, Garrett.
Okay.
All right, we hate Gophers on this one. The underdog.
I hate
All
you.
right. Underdog
I
story.
hate you. But thank you for the free win. Anyways.
Is anyone hearing this underdog story?
Oh, hey! If everyone remember that quote. All right, continue.
Goofy Gophers versus We Hate Gophers. Or not Goofy Gophers. Goofy Gophers versus Corporate Budget Cuts.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
And
probably
like I said, this
Gophers.
is the second top lane matchup. You know, like third seat, like third best top laner versus first best top laner, right? So
It's hard to judge Goofy Gophers because it depends on the dynamic of their like bot lane and top lane.
yeah.
It's. I could see you. I honestly see a world where CBC would win.
Yeah, dude, I have a hard time justifying CBC winning against Goofy Gophers because I just said Asterios Bonobos won't beat them, and I think that those two teams kind of play actually pretty similarly to their win conditions around bot side.
I think DB for VP is more of like a better role player
Mhm.
though, is the thing. That's why I
Yeah,
think
that
CBC has a better
that
chance.
and I feel like, dude, I feel like Proton Plat player just has plot armor. This man pulls out
does,
wins
he
it's
does.
illegal. He just
It
pulls
sounds
out
like
the
we're
most
going
ridiculous
CBC.
wins. Yeah, I'm going CBC.
All right,
Alright.
CVC. I went with Goofy Gophers. I think Elidad is going to show up in a big way. Mid lane.
My brain says Goofy Gophers, my heart says CBC.
Oh, I totally forgot. It's going to be a Cisco versus I Am Nika spot lane as well. So we're going to see how that lane goes.
Yeah.
So this next series, BLS versus MiSfItS, we're actually going to
This is the one where I have to go with Garrett.
I thought you guys were never going to come to a consensus. So
See, this is the one where I have to go with Daniel because I can't just say my own team. I have to curse Daniel's team.
That's exactly why I went first. No. All right. We're going with Garrett's team, MiSfItS.
So what we're going to do is because
You know what? Let's rock, paper, scissors over it.
No. You guys can't decide, so we're going to do a community vote. That way, it's fair for both co-hosts.
Okay,
Boo! All right, fine.
Fine.
Right? Rock, paper, scissors.
We had an epic rock, paper, scissors
All right, fine.
match on
Rock,
the line.
paper, scissors,
No,
right
it's
now.
okay.
Come on.
Best out of three.
Okay, all right.
Best out of three.
Rock,
No, I
paper.
don't want to do best out of three. I just want to do
No,
it once.
yeah,
and get
just
it
Alright,
the
over with.
fine,
one.
once.
On shoot.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
Your shit on.
I guess I have to go with no. I have to go with Daniel's.
No. We go with my pick. It's MiSfItS.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I have to go with your
Yeah.
pick. So
Perfect.
MiSfITS is
All right.
All right.
Yep.
I'm a
I've just cursed my
BLS
team.
fan. Let's go BLS. Kick their ass for me.
I just want you to know if this is the difference between whether or not you eat the chip.
The chip is no longer being sold.
Yeah,
by the way.
you know what? If this is the difference between
It
you
is. I'll
eating the
find it
chip or
for
not,
you.
I will throw and go to 4th seed. Okay, I will make sure you eat that chip.
No.
All right. Anyways, continue.
Anyways, final game: Asterios Bonobos versus Mystic Ninja Cyclones.
Okay,
well,
so
I
this is
think
an
it's gotta
interesting
be-
one because we have Korai's team, right?
we got the Bonobos.
And they've got a situation going on, so I don't know what this team dynamics.
They have drama. I heard
spoiler.
drama.
Spoiler.
It's
No,
a bit
no,
of a
it's not-
spoiler.
It's not drama.
It's not drama.
Yes.
This last week will just be interesting for them, I think.
I think you'll know by the time this releases. I don't know when this is releasing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably
either, but
tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Maybe
okay.
not yet.
Yeah,
Soon.
they won't.
You will know soon. But anyways, yeah.
I still want to go with Asterios Bonobos though.
Yeah, I'll go
think
with
we-
AB.
All
I like
right. That's what
I
I
like
went
AB
with.
here.
That's what I went with. Anyways, that is going to wrap up episode 4 of The Climb. I was joined by the two beautiful gentlemen above me, Wujin, aka Boise, and Alturras. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. I appreciate it. And yeah, we will see you guys again week 9. We're going to talk about the final week of regular season and then looking towards playoffs. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.